Hi, this is Courtney Young from Portfolio. I'm going to do a short reading from Small Giants by Bo Burlingham, one of our favorite small business books. This is a book about companies that choose to be great instead of big. There was a quality they exuded that was real and recognizable, but also frustratingly difficult to define. I could sense it as I walked around the business. I could feel it in the contents of the bulletin boards and on the faces of the people. I could hear it in their voices. I could feel it in the way they interacted with one another, with customers and with total strangers. But I found the awfully hard to put my finger on. I was reminded of the feeling I'd had in the past when I'd come into contact with hot companies just as they were hitting their stride. Apple Computer, Fidelity Investments, People Express Airlines, Ben & Jerry's, Patagonia, The Body Shop, even Inc. magazine. They had a buzz. There was excitement, anticipation, a feeling of movement, a sense of purpose and direction, of going somewhere. That happens, I think, when people find themselves totally in sync with their market, with the world around them, and with each other. Everything just seems to click. Most of the companies I knew had eventually lost that quality. Somehow the companies I was looking at now had managed to retain it. But what was it? Danny Meyer of Union Square Hospitality Group talked about businesses having soul. He believes soul was what made a business great, or even worth doing at all. So one of the companies Bo profiles in this book actually has a personal connection for me. They're one of my former employers. They're this really cool deli in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Bo kind of goes into the story of what happened to them when they hit the point when they had to choose between being great or being big. Consider Ari Weinswig and Paul Saginaw, co-founders of Zingerman's Deli in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They launched the store in 1982 with the intention of having it carry the finest artisanal food products and serve the best sandwiches known to man. We wanted sandwiches so big you needed 2 hands to hold them, and the dressing would roll down your forearms, said Saginaw. We wanted people to say about other sandwiches, "This is a great sandwich, but it's not a Zingerman's." Within a decade, they'd accomplished all that and more. Articles extolling the deli's food had appeared in the New York Times, Bon Appetit, Eating Well, and other publications. In Zingerman's, novelist Jim Harrison raved in Esquire, "I get the mighty reassurance that the world can't be totally bad if there's this much good food to eat. The same flowing emotions I get at Fauchon in Paris, Harrods Food Department in London, Balducci's or Dina De Luca in New York. Only at Zingerman's there's a goodwill that is lacking in the others." Yet despite their success, or rather I should say because of it, the partners soon came face to face with the realization that they had a choice to make. Weinswig can pinpoint the exact moment it reared its head. It was a sultry summer day in 1992, and the lunchtime rush was in full swing. In addition to the usual headaches involved in feeding the hungry multitudes, a cooler had broken down. Weinswig was racing around, trying to deal with the problems, when Saginaw came hurrying in. "Ari, we gotta talk." "Okay, Paul, but not now," Weinswig said. "I've got too much going on here." "No, it's important," Saginaw insisted. "We've got to talk right now. Let's go outside." Weinswig reluctantly followed Saginaw out the side door and sat down next to him on a bench. "Okay, what is it?" he asked. "Ari," Saginaw said, "where are we going to be in 10 years? "I couldn't believe it," Weinswig recalled many years later. "I sat there thinking, I don't have time for this. The cooler is broken. The kitchen staff is stretched thin. And he hauls me out to talk about 10 years from now?" But I had to admit, it was a real good question.